Building Charity, Episode 2, Housing Crisis Solved, the CLT Revolution. Welcome to Building Charity. I'm Jeffrey Duke. Today we're tackling what might be the defining crisis of our generation, housing affordability. And we're going to show you a solution that's already working here in Charity, Texas. Let's start with some numbers that might make you uncomfortable. The median home price in America has reached $402,600. Now pause for a moment and compare that to the median household income of only $74,580. If you're doing the math in your head, yes, that means the typical home costs more than 5 times what the typical family makes in a year. But that's just the beginning. To buy that median-priced home with a conventional mortgage, you'd need about $80,000 for a down payment and closing costs. That's more than an entire year's salary for the median American household. Here's how James Foster, one of our residents, describes his own previous situation. He said, "I was paying $2,200 a month in rent, trying to save for a down payment. But every time I got close, home prices went up faster than I could save. It felt like running on a treadmill that kept getting faster." And there's another factor making this crisis worse. In 2021, investment firms bought nearly 1 in 7 homes sold in America's top metropolitan areas. These aren't homes being bought by families. They're being turned into rental properties or held as financial assets. The result? In many neighborhoods, families aren't just competing with other families for homes. They're competing with billion-dollar investment funds that can pay cash and bid up prices. Let's make this personal. Meet Maria Torres, one of our kitchen staff members here in Charity. Before moving here, Maria was making $31,200 a year as a single mom with 2 kids in San Antonio. Maria explains, "I was paying $1,400 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. My kids shared a bedroom. I slept on the couch. Every month was a struggle. Owning a home, it seemed impossible. The banks wouldn't even talk to me." Maria's story is increasingly common. Nearly half of American renters now spend more than 30% of their income on housing. That was a threshold traditionally considered cost-burdened. A quarter spend more than 50% of their income on housing. It's not just a low-income problem. Even tech workers making 6 figures are struggling to buy homes in many cities. The traditional dream of home ownership, the cornerstone of the middle class, wealth building, is slipping away from an entire generation. But here's where our story takes a turn. Because Maria Torres, that same single mom making $31,200 a year, she now owns her home in Charity. Her monthly housing payment, including utilities, is less than what she was paying for that 1-bedroom apartment. How is that possible? That's what we're going to explain today. How Charity's community land trust model, combined with innovative DeFi mortgages and community token economics, is making home ownership accessible to people who've been locked out of their traditional market. Let's hear from Sarah Rodriguez, our city manager. She said, "What we're doing in Charity isn't just about making homes affordable. It's about reimagining what home ownership means in the 21st century. We're creating a system where housing is both a home and a way to build wealth, but never a speculative commodity." Segment 2, the CLT solution. Let's start with the foundation of Charity's approach, quite literally. Our entire 200-acre community is owned by a community land trust, or CLT. Every home, business, and community space in Charity operates through a land use lease with the trust. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, you don't actually own your land? And you're right. But this is exactly why our homes are affordable. By separating the ownership of land from the ownership of buildings, we've removed one of the biggest factors driving housing cost: land speculation. As our finance director, Diana Thompson, explains it, think of the CLT like a community-owned foundation that ensures the land will always serve the community's needs. Whether you're a homeowner, business owner, or the kitchen itself, everyone has the same relationship with the land: secure, long-term access through a renewable 99-year lease.
Wait, what?
Okay, let's use an example. Remember Maria Torres from earlier? Here's how the numbers work for her 800 square foot apartment above the kitchen. The traditional apartment she was renting, $1,400 per month. Building wealth for someone else. Her charity home, $1,016 per month, total payment. Broken down like this: $866 for her DeFi mortgage, $120 for her ground lease, and $30 for utilities, thanks to our energy-efficient design. But here's where it gets interesting. Maria actually owns her home, the physical structure. She can renovate it, sell it, or pass it on to her children. What she doesn't own is the land underneath, and that's by design. To quote Maria, "At first I didn't understand how it worked. But then they explained, I'm building real equity in my home. If I decide to sell, I'll make a fair profit. The difference is my home can't be used as a speculative investment. It has to remain affordable for the next family." This is where technology comes in. Every home in charity is registered on the blockchain as an NFT, a unique digital token that represents ownership. This isn't crypto for crypto's sake. It serves a practical purpose. The smart contract attached to each home NFT automatically enforces our resale formula, ensuring homes remain affordable while still allowing owners to build wealth. When a home is sold, the smart contract calculates the resale price based on the original purchase price, approved improvements the owner has made, and a modest appreciation tied to increases in median income, not market speculation. Alex Rivera, our blockchain developer, explains, the technology makes everything transparent and automatic. There's no arguing about resale prices or wondering if rules are being applied fairly. It's all coded into the smart contract that everyone can see and verify. But the CLT model isn't just about housing. By owning all 200 acres, the trust ensures that every aspect of charity, from the kitchen to our retail spaces to our parks, serves the community's needs. Businesses pay fair lease rates, but they can't be pushed out by speculative rent increases. The community land will always serve the community. When housing costs are stable and reasonable, something remarkable happens to a community. People can afford to live near their work. Teachers, service workers, first responders can live in the community where they serve. Young families can put down roots. Segment 3, Beyond Affordability. We've explained how our community land trust makes homes affordable, but affordability is just the beginning. Let's talk about how this model builds lasting wealth and stronger communities. Traditional home ownership has been the primary way American families build wealth. But when housing becomes a speculative asset, it creates winners and losers. Our model takes a different approach: sustainable wealth building that lifts everyone up. Let's look at how wealth building works in charity. When you buy a home there, your equity grows in 3 ways. First, principal paydown on your DeFi mortgage. Second, value of improvements you make to your home. And third, a modest appreciation tied to increases in median income. Jordan Taylor, one of our residents who hosts a crypto education podcast, explains, when I make improvements to my home, like renovating the kitchen, those investments are automatically tracked and added to my home's resale value. It's all transparent and verifiable on the blockchain. Let's look at how this works for a typical family. Consider a couple with a combined income of $150,000 looking to buy a new 2,000 square foot home. In a traditional market, a comparable new construction, energy efficient home might cost $375,000. They'd then need a down payment of $75,000. That's 20% down just to avoid private mortgage insurance. Then add closing costs, and they're looking at needing nearly $90,000 in cash just to get started. In charity, that same high-efficiency, new construction home costs about $295,000, and our DeFi mortgage program requires just 5% down, about $15,000. That's a game changer for many families. In our old neighborhood, we were watching homes get bought up by investors and flipped for massive profits. Here, we know our mortgage payments are building our family's wealth, not making some investment firm richer. And our children will be able to afford to live here too. But wealth building isn't just about equity. Our community-focused approach also reduces costs. Every home in charity is built to high energy efficiency standards. The community maintenance program helps catch small problems before they become expensive repairs. Shared resources like tools and equipment reduce individual household expenses. And transportation? Many families here have gone from 2 cars to 1, saving over $10,000 annually. Our e-bike network and walkable design means most daily needs are just minutes away. But perhaps the most innovative aspect is how we build community wealth. The ground lease fees go into our community treasury, managed through smart contracts with complete transparency. This funds community improvements and education programs. Sarah Rodriguez, our city manager, said, "Traditional cities rely heavily on property taxes, which create pressure for constant growth and rising property value. Our model generates sustainable community revenue without burdening residents. The community treasury is like a community endowment that grows over time. The treasury itself uses DeFi protocols to generate yield, all governed by smart contracts that residents can monitor and vote on. It's like having a community-owned bank that works for residents, not shareholders." Segment 4, a living example. Let's take a walk through one of our pocket neighborhoods and explore what daily life is actually like in a community land trust home. You can't see it, but right now I'm standing in the center of one of our completed pocket neighborhoods. Instead of houses facing a street, 24 homes are arranged in a horseshoe around a beautiful shared green space. Front porches face this common area, creating natural gathering spaces where neighbors connect. Lisa Thompson, one of our residents, explains, "We have a smaller private backyard, but it doesn't matter. Our front porch overlooks this amazing shared space where kids play and neighbors gather. And when we host our weekly game nights with friends, we just reserve the community room. We actually saved money buying a smaller house because we don't need extra square footage for the occasional entertaining." Let's talk about these homes themselves. Every house in charity is built with a comprehensive energy efficiency package that includes solar panel system, geothermal HVAC, super insulation, high efficiency windows, smart home systems, and a water recycling system. While these features add about $55,000 to the initial home cost, the savings are remarkable. A typical 1,200 square foot home here has monthly energy costs of just $40, compared to $200 or more in a traditional home. Over a 30-year mortgage, that's a savings of nearly $58,000, and that's assuming energy prices don't rise. But perhaps the most innovative aspect of our CLT model becomes clear when it's time to sell. Unlike the traditional real estate market, where selling a home can be stressful and expensive, our process is straightforward and guaranteed. Again, Diana Thompson, our finance director. When a resident decides to sell, they don't have to worry about finding a buyer or paying realtor fees. The CLT always exercises its first option to purchase, using a transparent formula that ensures the seller makes a fair profit while keeping the home affordable for the next family. Here's how it works. Let's say you've owned your home for 5 years and made some approved improvements. The resale price is calculated automatically by a smart contract that considers your original purchase price, the value of your improvements, a modest appreciation tied to increases in median income, no realtor fees, no negotiation needed, and a guaranteed sale within 60 days. Again, Alex Rivera, our blockchain developer. The smart contract makes everything transparent. Sellers know exactly what their home is worth, buyers know the price is fair, and the whole process takes weeks instead of months. No bidding wars, no speculation, just fair value transfer. Now think about what this means for homeowners. No worry about market timing, no expensive realtor commissions, no lengthy selling process, no uncertainty about finding a buyer, no pressure to price high or low, guaranteed equity building, and a protected investment. This is what sustainable homeownership looks like. It's not about making a killing in the real estate market. It's about building a stable wealth while ensuring future generations can afford to live in the community where they grew up. As we wrap up today's episode, look around Charity, and you'll see what happens when you remove housing from the speculative market. You see children playing in shared spaces, neighbors gathering on front porches, and families building wealth without fear of being priced out of their own community. This isn't just a nice idea. It's happening right now, just south of San Antonio. And we're ready to welcome more families who want to be part of the revolution in home ownership. Before we end today's episode, I want to share something important with you. While Charity Texas is a concept we've created to help illustrate what's possible, every solution we've discussed today exists and is being used successfully in communities across America. Community land trusts have been creating permanently affordable housing since the 1960s. The Chaplain Housing Trust in Vermont, the largest CLT in the country, manages over 2,000 homes. Pocket neighborhoods pioneered by architect Ross Chapin can be found from Seattle to Massachusetts. Energy-efficient home design and community solar projects are reducing costs for homeowners nationwide. What makes our vision of Charity unique is bringing these proven solutions together and enhancing them with new technologies like blockchain and DeFi. While Charity may be fictional, it represents a very real possibility, a blueprint for how we might build better, more affordable, more connected communities. If you're inspired by what you heard today, I encourage you to research community land trusts in your area, learn about pocket neighborhood developments, explore community solar projects, and get involved in local housing affordability initiatives. The housing crisis is real, but solutions exist. Sometimes we need to imagine what's possible before we can build it. I'm Jeffrey Duke, and this has been Building Charity.